Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good Friday. A lot of information to get through today. Some interesting news out there, but let's get through the operational information as of 10 o'clock the 7th of November regarding the Russian invasion. Might help if I put my mic so you guys could actually hear me better. Yeah. Anyways, like I was saying, hope you had a good Friday. And let's get into the operational information as of 10 p.m. of November 7th. The defense forces of Ukraine continue to hold back the onslaught of occupying forces. The situation in Kharkiv direction remains tense. The enemy is concentrating its main offensive efforts there. In addition, today the occupiers are actively attacking in the Pokrovsk and Lyman directions. So far today, 140 combat clashes have taken place. Today, the terrorist state carried out 55 airstrikes, dropping 87 anti-aircraft missiles. In addition, the invaders used 687 kamikaze drones and carried out more than 3,600 artillery strikes on the positions of our troops in populated areas. In the Kharkiv direction, Russian terrorists stormed the positions of our units in the Voschansk district 3 times. And of course, Voschansk is right here. Welcome, Petri. Hope you're having a good Friday. 12 times the enemy attacked our positions in the Kupian direction, in the vicinity of Petropavlivka, Kurylivka, Kindrashivka, Kolosivka, and Lozova. Units of the defense forces repelled all enemy attacks. So 12 attacks in Kupiansk area, Lozova, Kurylivka, Koloniskva. That's not it. Kuchyrivka is here. So, striking in this area and minor gray zone changes. Nothing. Okay, Petri. So, like, Petri dish. Okay. My name is Batty. The logic is erratic. Sorry. If you know Ferngully, you know P3. In the Moscow direction, Russian troops attacked Ukrainian defenders 17 times today in the areas of Drezh-Shulubivka, Gorivka, Makivka, Katerinivka, Turniev, Torsky, Serebryanka, Bilogorivka, and Heroivka. A lot of attacks, and Rovica, Toretsk, Terny, Rivka. So all along this front, 17 attacks today. In the subversive direction, our defenders repulsed one attack in the Perizny area. The enemy launched an airstrike in the Zakitnu area. Sovetsk. I'm trying to find. Zimka is here. Zakinte. So this was the air attack, well behind the lines of attack, but obviously it doesn't mean you're safe that far back. They can still drop bombs. Hey Kurt, how's it going? In the Kramatorsk direction, Ukrainian soldiers repelled 6 attempts by the invaders to advance in the areas of Stupochny and Bilohora. Another attack is underway. Kramatorsk, Stupochny, and see if I can find the Bilohora, because that's a new town. I'm not seeing it offhand. If you guys can see it, let me know. That would be in Toretsk. Yeah, I'm not seeing Bilohora. But Stupochny is here, and again, Russians are not making much progress. Remember, last year they talked about, when they take Bakhmut, the rest of Ukraine will fall. Now they're talking about the next city, and Ukraine hasn't fallen. This Russian propaganda. In the Kramatorsk, you went through that, Bilohora. In the Toretsk direction, our troops repelled 4 enemy attacks in the area of Toretsk, where he, with the support of aviation, tried to improve his tactical position. There are still 2 battles ongoing. Again, talking about in Toretsk, the assaults were directly in Toretsk, and no gains made. Get down to Pokrovsk. In the Pokrovsky direction during the day, the aggressor attacked our positions 23 times. Near the settlements of Mirolubivka, Prominia, Lviska, Krutoyar, Hirohorivka, Sukoyar, and Seladovo. Our defenders repelled all assaults of the occupation troops. According to available information, the losses for the occupiers in this direction for today amount to 357 people. A mortar, 5 armored combat vehicles, a tank, and 7 units of automobiles were destroyed. A cannon, a tank, 2 cars, and 2 armored combat vehicles were also damaged. Pokrovsk is here. Petrivka, Lisivka, Mirolubivka. Of course, they're trying to push down this area. And one that I want to point out in particular is, I keep trying to stress how important these railroad lines are for Russia. They made this advance, and they're advancing along it again and pushed out a little bit from it. It shows a little bit of a sliver into this small village, but it's Russia's normal thing. Push out along the rail lines, spread out from there. Because even the Russian troops know they cannot advance without rail supply. So they capture those first. It is the hottest today in Kharkiv, where the invaders have made 50 attempts to advance at this time of day. Battles are mainly taking place near Ilinivka, Novoselodivka, Kremina Balka, Novodormivka, Santiskivka, Maximilianivka, Antonivka, Doliny, and Katarinivka. Ooh. The enemy also carried out airstrikes in the areas of Kurakovo, Doliny, and Antonivka. Of course, Kurakiv, Kurakova's here, Katrinivka, Antonivka, Doliny, Ilinika, Novoselodivka, Novodmitra. So they're spreading out the attacks. Thankfully, the number of attacks is decreasing. A couple days ago, it was 80. Yesterday, it was like 60 something. So slowly starting to dwindle down. You see, they're making advances in some of the fields here. And, we talked about some of the actions along this roadway here. It is very heavily defended. Dragon's Teeth, mines. So Russia is having a real hard time getting through here. They tried to take this road and come in through this road and are running into the same problem in this area. Sonia, calm down. Dog is playing under the bed and making weird noises. Today, the aggressors stormed the front edge of our defenses in the area of Tudrovi, Rozovi, and Sunuyali 5 times in the Vermits direction. The enemy actively used aviation in the areas of the settlements of Nopovli, Temirivki, Novodorika, and Velika Novosilika. Unfortunately, with the attacks decreasing here, you're seeing increased attacks here. Trudov, Sukuyali, Makrivka is here. I don't see the other towns they're talking about offhand. And of course, this area, Russia is still gaining, farm fields that are hard to defend. Russia is running into the secondary defense line that was set up in this area finally. I believe you can even... I know you can do defenses, but I don't remember how. Yeah, I don't remember offhand. But they do have like a defense line map that you can bring up. I just don't remember how to do it. Oh, in the order heap direction, the enemy carried out airstrikes with anti-aircraft missiles in the areas of Zaporizhia, Malatomaki, Novopavlivka, Novoandriivka, Stepnorovich, dropping 9 air bombs. So no assaults, just airstrikes. And Bilohori, Malatomika, Novodanlivka, Pavlika, and Stepova, I believe, was the other one. Oh. Um. Oh, you guys are gonna have to excuse me. My stomach is yelling at me right now. Hold on a second. God, I hope the mic's not picking that up. I apologize for the interruption. I just really hope you guys couldn't hear all that. AK Bell Soloweevo. Thanks for keeping the chat going while I was away. Just finished talking about Orhiv in the Dnieper direction. The enemy made 3 unsuccessful attempts to storm the positions of Ukrainian troops. Of course, when they're talking about the Dnieper direction, they're talking about this whole line here, but usually the attacks are in this area. Defense forces of Ukraine continue operations in the Kursk direction. Today, Russian aviation carried out 18 airstrikes in Kurshkivna using 27 bombs. Go up to Kursk. And I don't see where that town is. Is it over in this little salient? Okay, I don't know where that town is. Oh, it might be. Yeah, unfortunately, I do not know where this town is. In some of these towns, the town name is so small, it's nearly impossible to see, so. Yeah, apparently my stomach's not happy with me either, so I apologize for the break in the stream, guys. Today we celebrate the soldiers of the 128th Separate Transcarpathian Mountain Assault Brigade, the 126th Separate Territorial Defense Brigade, the 25th Separate Airborne Brigade, the 38th Separate Marine Brigade, and the 14th Ivan Bohun Operational Assignment Brigade for their effective combat work. Let's beat the enemy and bring our victory closer. Glory to Ukraine, and of course, Heroям Slava. Let me go back to the full news page. I'm going to copy and give you guys the link in chat because there's 2 stories here I want to direct you to. During the fighting in Kurshkivna, our mechanics shouted, "This is for Donbass." At that time, we felt that we were really doing a good thing. We were repulsing the enemy on their own land. Paratrooper of the 95th Brigade of the Russian Air Force, Alexander. This is a very interesting story. I'm not going to go through it. It's, I want you guys to check this site out and make it part of your routine. So let's just do the first paragraph. Okay. Basically, interview. Paratrooper Alexander, a paratrooper of the 95th Brigade of the Russian Armed Forces, always talking about his military adventures with a smile. The man himself joined the army. No one caught him on the street. He updated his data and military conversation and waited for the call at the beginning of 2023. He joined the Glorious Brigade. Um, Basically gives the background. Um, Kind of a weird story. It, I think, I'm not entirely sure, but I think this is the Russians fighting for Ukraine. I'm not quite entirely sure, but I thought it would be an interesting read for you guys. The other one I wanted to point out. Oh shoot, where'd it go? Oh, um, in June of 2024, the Public Space Choice began its activities in Lviv. The main goal of this initiative is to create conditions for increasing the effectiveness of psychological and moral support for both soldiers who are directly involved in combat units and repelling large scale Russian aggression, as well as their family members. So, Ukraine is taking care of the mental health of their soldiers, which is interesting. That's news. That other story has me intrigued. So I'm actually going to read through this now with you guys. Somehow a mine flew into our dugout near Marinka. I think it was the 120th, but I'm not sure. We quickly ran out of the dugout as soon as we saw the tank. We were lucky the mine didn't explode. Then no one entered that dugout because the mine could explode at any moment. So in civilian life, Alexander repaired and laid new roads, and in the army, he worked on machine guns of various calibers. At first, I and the battalion participated in the battles for Marinka. They fought there for a long time. After that, they were already battles for the settlement of Turna. It was not worth comparing these directions because there were fierce battles everywhere. The paratrooper shares his memories. In Turney, I covered the guys with machine guns. My main task was to prevent the enemy infantry from breaking through, as well as light armored vehicles. Then the man was sent to train as a gunner of the German combat vehicle Marauder. Our commander selected our crew very aptly. We became a family at one point. We understand each other with half a word, and it's easy. It's very good when a crew is so coordinated. For his determination and effective performance in tasks in Krashinka, Alexander was awarded the Order for Courage of the Third Degree by the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, General Alexander Syrsky. Once during the battles of Kharkivna, our mechanic shouted, we already did that in the headline. As a man in the army is in the army because he wants the enemy, does not want the enemy to reach his relatives. It's a pity not everyone understands that it's necessary to join the army to help the military. Join the army. Don't let them occupy your homes, says Alexander. Together we will win, according to the materials. Okay, so this must be a mistranslation. Let me go back to the original Ukrainian. DL. Yeah, it's a mistranslation by Google, unfortunately. A paratrooper with the 95th Airborne Brigade always tells his military adventures with a smile instead of, you know. So apparently, airborne brigades are Russian brigades, and you should have known. Should have looked at the picture. It, I apologize about that. I thought it was a really cool story, but I was reading it in Ukrainian, not in the translated English. So it's like, why does that say Russian? Uh-oh, what are you doing, Aussie T? What are you not? What's going on? I'm confused and concerned. So yeah, they have always the ZCU website always has good stories like this. Gives you some of the background that you wouldn't get from other sources. I thoroughly enjoy it, and you're getting news directly from the ZCU. Um, so before we go to Zelensky's speech, there's one video I'd like to play. And you notice this is an apartment building. Now, this isn't a military barracks or anything like that. You know, this is what Russia is bombing. These are the people Russia are bombing. These are a couple different locations. See if I can. These ones are Odessa. The first one was Zaporizhia. And the rescue operations were still ongoing as of 2 o'clock this afternoon, our Central Time. Get the one with subtitles. Hold on, let's back you up for a second. Make you a little bit louder and full screen.
Бажаю здоров'я, шановні українці і українки. Сьогодні вже увесь день зустрічі наради в Києві після саміту Європейської політичної спільноти в Будапешті. Українська позиція була представлена. Взагалі, напрацювання європейської політики на наступний період має бути спільним, скоординованим і таким, що прямо допомагає нашому партнерству в Європі, в Євроатлантиці. Так само, як без сильної Америки глобальні справи занепадають, так і без сильної Європи збереження стабільності для європейських народів просто неможливо. І наступний тиждень має також принести відповідні результати в нашій роботі з партнерами. Говорив сьогодні з президентом Фінляндії про нашу співпрацю і двосторонню, і з ширшим колом партнерів. Я вдячний Фінляндії за всю оборону та політичну підтримку, яку ми отримуємо. Вже 26 пакетів військової підтримки. Дякую. Обговорили також перспективи найближчих місяців, а також контакти Фінляндії з іншими державами, з іншими лідерами, які принципово важливі для реального миру, для України і всієї Європи. Робимо все, щоб змусити Росію до нормальних, змістовних перемовин на основі міжнародного права, а не терору. Була сьогодні доповідь головкома, фронт, Курахівський напрямок, Покровський напрямок найскладніші зараз. Військове командування бригад працюють над посиленням позицій, продовжив нашу державну традицію шани до героїв України, воїнів, які проявили надзвичайну хоробрість і заслуговують на надзвичайну вдячність. Ще 30 квартир для наших українських героїв. Воїни і родини воїнів сухопутних військ, повітряних сил, ВМС, десантно-штурмових військ, сил спеціальних операцій, ТРО, Національна гвардія України, а також працівника ДСНС України в Харківській області. На жаль, загиблого героя України. І це завжди буде в Україні основою політики героїв. Наша не тільки пам'ять про тих, хто врятував Україну своєю сміливістю, але й наша здатність показати державну шану конкретними діями, конкретними рішеннями, конкретним піклуванням про українських героїв. І ще одне. Було спеціальне моє доручення уряду для всієї української школи, для всіх українських вчителів, те, що підтримує в наступному році фіксована доплата для всіх педагогічних працівників шкіл від січня 1000 гривень кожному, від вересня буде збільшення і будуть 2000 гривень. І сьогодні Кабінет міністрів ухвалив це рішення. Ми всі розуміємо, що ресурси нашої держави обмежені, але уряд мусить допомогти людям, які працюють в Україні та безумовно для України. Кошти на це є. Урядовці готують зараз також інші рішення, зокрема для зимового пакету підтримки українців, які будуть представлені цього місяця. Я вдячний усім, хто з Україною. Слава Україні!
Героям слава. And I thought this was one of the best messages. I'm going to pull up the air alert map while I talk about this. See where it says it in here. Okay, it doesn't give that part of the speech in text, but he is sitting there talking about a increase to a supplement to teachers in Ukraine of an extra 200 or 2,000 hryvnia. It doesn't sound like much, but it's a lot for a Ukrainian, because that's like the average wage in Ukraine is 14,000 hryvnia a month. So it's a good percent increase for the teachers. And, you know, I have to give props to Zelensky. He knows, even though they're at war, he knows the future of the country relies on the education of its young people. Something we've forgotten here in America. There were a bunch of air raids earlier. Most of them cleared. Cherkasky region has only been under air alert for 21 minutes. Kislograd Oblast, 28 minutes, but the city has been under air alert for 7 hours. So not much to do with the air alerts today. News for Ukraine from popular media. Elon Musk joined Trump's phone call with Zelensky. Donald Trump's phone call with Ukrainian President Zelensky on Wednesday included two surprises. Elon Musk was also on the line, and Zelensky was somewhat reassured by what he heard from the president-elect. Two sources with knowledge of the call tell Axios. Why it matters. The new details of the call underscore how influential Musk could be in the second Trump administration, and the uncertainty over how exactly Trump will approach Ukraine. Not the greatest of news, but it's interesting to say the least. Trump's public messages throughout the election campaign promising a quick resolution to the war, declining to say which side he wanted to win, and criticizing the massive aid packages flowing from Washington. This raised alarm bells in Kyiv and throughout Europe. The Biden administration is now looking for ways to get as much military assistance as possible to Ukraine ahead of January 20th, when Trump could turn off the spigot. Okay. But the private conversations Trump and his team have had with Zelensky and his advisors over the last 2 months, including on Wednesday, were somewhat more reassuring to the Ukrainians, the sources say. Zelensky himself felt that the fact that the call happened so soon after Trump was declared the winner is a positive sign. Trump has yet to speak with Putin since the election, but the Russian Hulo said he would pick up the phone if Trump calls. So, to me, that's a really good sign that Zelensky is having conversations. As far as my understanding, multiple conversations, not just the Wednesday one, but one before that as well. And Putin's making Trump make the first move, and that's, with Trump's ego, that's going to bite him in the ass, I think. And that's a good thing for Ukraine. The call between Trump and Zelensky lasted around 25 minutes. Zelensky congratulated Trump, said he will, and the president-elect said he will support Ukraine, but didn't go into details. Three sources briefed on the call all told Axios that Zelensky felt the call went well and that it did not increase his anxiety about Trump's victory. One source said it didn't leave Zelensky with a feeling of despair. Musk also weighed in during the call to say he will continue supporting Ukraine through his Starlink satellites. Musk did not respond to a request for a comment. Side note, Starlink has been crucial to Ukraine's war effort, though Musk also mocked Zelensky's request for U.S. aid, and Zelensky rebuked the billionaire for proposing a peace plan of his own in 2022. Reality check. Much went unsaid, and much remains unknown. Trump and Zelensky did not delve into policies like Trump's purported plan to end the war, or the prospect of further U.S. aid. Talking about old stuff, Zelensky met Trump in September in New York, and discussed the war and a diplomatic path for ending it. Trump, according to sources with knowledge of that meeting, Trump told Zelensky he would not abandon Ukraine, but wants to give diplomacy a chance. I promise you'll be happy with me, Trump told Zelensky during the meeting, according to a source with knowledge. Again, I hate that they fluff this all the time. Trump campaign declined to comment on Wednesday's call or the previous meeting. In in attendance at that meeting were former U.S. ambassador, this guy, a possible Trump pick for Secretary of State. Grinnell is expected to play a leading role in any Ukraine diplomacy. Zelensky's advisors have kept an open channel of communication with Trump's aides. Trump told Zelensky Wednesday that they would continue the conversation after he assembles his foreign policy team. This is Zelensky speaking on a tweet on X. I had an excellent call with President Trump and congratulated him on his historic landslide victory. His tremendous campaign made this result possible. Strong and unwavering U.S. leadership is vital for the world and for a just peace. Adding that he and Trump agreed to maintain a close dialogue. More fluff. He stressed that Ukraine wants a fair end to the war, not just concessions, which I would agree with. I totally 100% agree with. Musk also apparently joined Trump's call with Turkish President Erdogan, who told reporters that Musk and Trump had been having dinner at the time. Even though there were potential peace talks, Ukrainians see some upside in breaking with the current negative status quo. One source briefed on government deliberations said, 3 sources with knowledge of Ukrainian government assessment said Kiev expects that if a peace talks do take place, they will agree to participate, but Putin will either reject the talks or take steps that doom them to failure. The key takeaway here is, for me anyways, is these 2 points. Trump told Zelensky he will not abandon Ukraine, but wants to give diplomacy a chance. You have to remember what Trump's diplomacy is like. Trump does not compromise in diplomacy. If you want an example, look at Xi going and having to beg Trump to extend loans for China back in, 2018? I can't remember exactly. But he made Xi give up some huge concessions to basically help China keep their economy afloat. And yeah, so Trump totally took advantage of Xi in that moment. And I think that's what he's going to do with Putin, especially with not calling him, not congratulating him. That's kind of what you do, whether you like the person or not. And for Putin to snub Trump like that, that's hurting Trump's ego, and that is not going to fly well. So there's Elon basically getting installed in Trump's discussions. No paywall. Okay. A Russian court sentenced 2 soldiers to life in prison for the massacre of a family of 9 people in their home in occupied Ukraine. Russian prosecutors said in October 2023, two Russian soldiers, Anton Sopov and Stanislav Rao, entered the home of the Kapkanets family in the city of Volnovika with guns equipped with silencers. They then shot all 9 family members who lived there, including 2 children aged 5 and 9. The Southern District Military Court in Rostov-on-Don sentenced the 2 men to life in prison for mass murder, motivated by political, ideological, racial, national, or religious hatred. Notice this is a family that lived in Donetsk. It's not, occupied by Russia. So if this happened like on the front line where they weren't occupied and they weren't trying to maintain order behind the lines, this would have never happened. Kiev alleged at the time that the Russian soldiers had murdered the family in their sleep after they refused to move out of their home to allow the Russian soldiers to live there. The occupiers killed the family who were celebrating a birthday and refused to give up their home. Ukraine's human rights ombudsman said that a day after the murder, Russian forces seized the city of Volnovka in Ukraine's eastern Donetsk region at the start of their full-scale offensive. Russian artillery strikes virtually destroyed it. So, Russia has been accused of multiple instances of killing civilians in Ukrainian towns. No big secret. Moscow's always denied targeting civilians. Remember Bucha was fake? Yeah, I won't go back into Bucha because that was just sickening. The arrest and sentencing in this case is a rare example of Russia admitting to a crime committed by its troops. They even tried suggesting that it was a domestic dispute. Dispute over obtaining vodka. Yeah, This is where Russia's information warfare fails, is trying to hide shit that they do. Usually they just say, oh no, it was somebody else. Of course, the trial was held in secret. They weren't part of Russia's official army. They were part of Wagner. And they were both received state awards a few months before the murders. And of course, we all know about Prigozhin's plane crashing. But, at least here's one case where Russia did something about the war crimes. Maybe somebody else will think twice about doing it. So, Reuters, they don't have paywalls. Pentagon lifts ban on contractors fixing U.S. supplied weapons in Ukraine. It's not the full lift of exclusions that we gave Ukraine, but at least it's something. President Joe Biden administration has decided to allow U.S. defense contractors to work in Ukraine to maintain and repair Pentagon-provided weaponry. U.S. officials told Reuters on Friday. Basically, there's a lot of fluff to this story. Basically, the contractors will be doing repair work on like the F-16s and tanks and here he is. Like the F-16 fighters and Patriot air defenses. The U.S. tanks, stuff like that we've given Ukraine that used to have to be hauled all the way back to Poland, repaired in Poland, and then sent back to Ukraine. This will allow them to do the repairs inside Ukraine, cutting down the downtime for vehicles and equipment, which is life-saving, to say the least. More fluff stuff, but I'm not going to read all the fluff on that one. And we're back to Orban trying to call for peace. That's pretty much all the news for today. Still just the two regions under air alert. And whew. Another place I want to give you guys a link for is the Telegram channel of the official ZCU Telegram. There's a lot of stories that come out of here. Buses that get bombed, the rescue workers, and a very fluffy bulldog. Oh yeah, I forgot to go over that. Of course, it is all in Ukrainian, but you can just right click and in Starostov, after the debris of a downed UAV fell, a fire broke out in an industrial enterprise. Russia say that's a refinery.
Люди есть?
Okay, he said, are there people here? And they're saying, yes, there's people here.
Есть кто живой? Привет. Что? Да откуда я знал, есть тут кто или нету? Ух, козлы!
I couldn't understand what they're saying there. But that used to be an apartment building. Covers more of the strikes. And I don't know, I haven't brought this up before, but 4 missiles today and 62 shaheeds were shot down today. And let me pull up my blue segment. Total combat losses of the enemy for November 8th, 2024, day 989 of the invasion. 1,580 personnel, 9 tanks, 49 APVs, 32 artillery systems, 118 UAVs, 84 vehicles, and 6 special equipment. Even if Ukraine's only losing 10% of the vehicles, and let's just say trucks, that's 8 trucks a day that Ukraine would be losing. But so keep helping out those NAFO brigades, the 69th Stipping Brigade. Keep help getting those trucks. Keep help getting the FPV and the drones. Like in the link below, there's a fundraiser for 2 surveillance drones. Trucks, drones, stuff like that is consumables. You think, what do you think of when you need to go to camping or something? You need toilet paper. This is vehicles, trucks, drones. They're toilet paper for the military. They're expendable. They're get used up. You lose it. So keep helping those fundraisers. If Trump does cut off the aid to Ukraine, your donations become even more important. So keep helping, keep your head up, and with that, I'm going to say good night, everybody. Thanks for coming to the stream. Thank you for supporting Ukraine. Have a good night, and stay safe, everybody. Razum de переможемо. Together to victory.